May I have your attention? The October 17, 2024, 5 p.m. regular session of the Lawrence County School Board meeting will now come to order. I want to welcome all of our guests with us here tonight. It's an honor to see you in the crowd that we have, so we appreciate your support. Starting tonight and going forward, the board is going to start a new tradition, and before or at the start of every meeting, we're going to recognize a Lawrence County School System student. We as a board, we as a school system, not only are interested in growing and developing our children in their academics, we're also interested in growing and developing their character. So we're going to recognize a student who's going to give us a quick little spiel about a character trait that he or she so chooses. So tonight, we're going to recognize Mr. Brooks Durrell.
Hi, I'm Brooks Durham. I go to Lawrence County High School. I'm on the baseball and basketball team. And my character trait I'll share with y'all tonight is courage. There's two definitions for courage. The first is the ability to do something that frightens someone. And the second is strength in the face of pain or grief. My Bible verse that shows courage is Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you whenever you go. Let us pray. Dear God, we first want to thank you for letting us meet here today. Please let our board members use their wisdom and make good and fair decisions and guide all of us to continue to go into our community and exemplify courage. Further, watch over all the victims of the hurricanes and be with Tristan Perry as he is recovering. Allow everyone here to leave with the courage you have bestowed in each and every one of us. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brooks.
Next, I would invite everyone to please join with me as we stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance to our nation's colors. Mr. Weathers, would you care to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Evans, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Adams?
Here.
Alexander? Here. Daniel?
Here.
Dryden?
Here.
Hartsfield? Jacobs?
Here.
Rochelle? Shannon?
Here.
Weathers?
Here.
7 present, 1 absent.
We do have a quorum. We will continue and proceed with the agenda. First item on the agenda is recognitions. Our student recognition for the month from Etheridge Elementary School recognize Ms. Cruz to introduce her student of the month.
Good evening. I would like to recognize tonight Miss Amelia Hamby. She has been a student at Etheridge since she was in kindergarten. She is an 8th grade leader who participates in robotics. She's on our Etheridge cheerleading team, and she's been on the team since 6th grade. She also serves as an FCA officer, and she's involved in community theater. She sings in the school chorus and has performed many solos. Amelia also excels academically. She has been on the ES Knowledge Bowl team for 3 years, and she's involved in the production of our ES News, which you will be able to see a little bit later tonight, and she serves as our key anchor. It's my honor and privilege to recognize tonight Miss Amelia Hamby.
Congratulations again. Next on the agenda will be student recognition from Summertown Elementary School, Mr. Mabry.
Mr. Noah Kilburn is described by his second grade teacher, Miss Sandy, as a student that exhibits a positive outlook and attitude in the classroom, treats other students with fairness and understanding, and is a valued member of the class. Miss Emler, the music teacher, describes Noah as a quiet, respectful student. He likes the chance to talk about one or more things that he's interested in, and he likes sharing what's going on in his life. Miss Nikki describes Noah as just an all-around great kid. He's always on task and is never mean or rude to other children. He likes to talk about his drawings in art class and why he drew them. Today, we are recognizing Noah Kilburn for something outside of the classroom, though. Noah was part of something much bigger than even second grade. You see, when Noah and his grandmother was on one of their after-school visits to our playground, there was a conversation started. That conversation led to a new initiative at Summertown Elementary. Very quickly, others outside of the Lawrence County school system also recognized the potential impact of this initiative. Community donations ensured that every school has this same opportunity. The initiative spread very quickly across the entire county and will have a lasting impact on every student in every Lawrence County school. Noah Kilburn was the spark behind the Red Bench project at SES. It was Noah and his grandmother and their powerful recognition that we all have times in life in which we need a friend to talk to or someone to play with. Noah and his grandmother's desire to make a difference set the wheels in motion for this project. The strategically placed bright red bench is one way we can better meet the needs of every student. Taking a seat on the red bench sends a message to classmates that I am in need of a friend or I would like to join someone in play. Noah chose the location, and his family not only purchased the bench but helped install the red bench at Summertown Elementary. Summertown Elementary had a ribbon cutting ceremony with each grade level to establish the significance of this bright red bench. These efforts are not only being recognized tonight by the Lawrence County School Board, but have also been recognized by our governor of the state of Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee. And I'm going to read the certificate. It says, "By Bill Lee, Governor, by virtue of the authority vested in me, hereby confer upon Operation Red Bench this certificate of appreciation in recognition of the outstanding service in the best interest and the highest traditions of the state of Tennessee." So at this time, if Mr. Noah Kilburn would come forward to be recognized. Thank you, sir. Other hand. There we go. Mom, Grandma, Grandpa,
That's awesome work, Mr. Kilburn. Keep up the good work. All right, I believe that finishes out our student recognition portion. Now is public comments. I wasn't given any, Mr. Director, was there any public comments before the meeting?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to the agenda. Consent items, the adoption of the agenda, the approval of minutes, approval of business report, approval of TISA accountability report, approval of volunteers, approval of early graduation request, and approval of overnight field trips.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. You motion to approve A through G.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
No.
Have a second. All in favor, we can show your approval by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Consent items have passed. Now we move to number 2, report items. Mr. Atkins.
School reports.
Oh, did I miss one? Yeah, report items, school reports. Yeah, so first school report, again, we'll call Principal Christy Cruz.
Good evening again. I think you all have a copy of our school report, and I'm going to hit a few highlights. And then I have asked tonight, we have started last year, it's called ES News, and Miss Amelia is our key anchor, and it's only about 5 minutes, but it kind of shows everything that's happened in our school for the first 9 weeks. So the school report, just a few things I'll highlight because I know you can read through that. But when we look at areas of strength, it has some of our growth things. Our attendance was better than the district, and the achievement ELA 4th and 7th grade was better than it was last year, and in math 5th, 7th, and 8th, science 4th through 8th, so that's a huge highlight. A weakness is just lack of space, and we've been capped because of that. Some accomplishments of our faculty, just I have our teacher of the year, some high school students that now are in the program are assistants, and I also had 2 assistants come back that were former students. I think that's always amazing. They come through all 8th grades to do that. And our pirate play. On the back, I have some student accomplishments, just our population, and then some projects. If you'll go down, we're working on our playground, leveling in a new track with the help of PTO. Outdoor classroom, we have just finished actually fall break tinning the windows, some security things, and we're working on if you've ever been in our gym lobby, there was some space that just needed, it was just wasted space, so we're blocking that up actually because of lack of space to use as a special ed classroom. So now I think if it's ready, we'll play our ES News. I think it's
Roll it over to the other screen. I apologize.
There we go. And I'll talk through just a bit, just show some things that are going on at Etheridge. And you'll get to see Miss Amelia.
Good morning, Etheridge Elementary School. Welcome back to ES News. Let's hear from Audrey with our sports update. Everyone, our Lady Bulldogs volleyball team had an amazing season. We are so proud of them. We are also proud of our 2nd through 5th grade Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs basketball teams. They had an amazing season as well. A big thanks to our 2nd through 5th grade cheerleaders that cheered on our basketball teams. Our cross-country team competes at Crockett Elementary School on October 15th. Middle school basketball starts on October 28th. Let's hear from Jude with our joke of the week.
The week is, how do you supply the pumpkin? You catch them off board. Let's hear from Sawyer with the current events.
Hey everyone, we hope everyone had a fantastic fall break and is excited to be back to school learning. Pumpkins with personalities coming up, and there will be no school on October 24th due to parent-teacher conferences. The character trait for October is respect. Congratulations to each student that was nominated for this. Our teacher of the month is Miss Brown, and our assistant of the month is Miss Ashley. Congratulations to them as well. Remember, FCA for lower grades meets on Thursdays in Miss Miranda's room at 7:30. FCA for 6th, 8th graders meets in Miss Stuff's room on Fridays at 7:30. Let's hear from Tristan with our 9 weeks wrap up.
Last 9 weeks with our students did some amazing things this year.
Students in 1st through 8th grade stayed after school on Thursdays to rehearse for the play. Arts and musical. It was fantastic. Each student at EES had the opportunity to make props and other materials for the play. Thank you to everyone that helped make the play a success. During library classes the past few weeks, our students have had our opportunity to VR goggles, to take virtual field trips. We had an amazing turnout to see you at the polls. Our students at meet or exceeded TCAP in all areas last year. Got to treat it to the movies. We are so proud of all of our students and their hard work on TCAP last year. Several grade levels at EES have taken some great field trips or had amazing community partners come visit, tell them about what they do. Let's check out Amelia and Audrey in the field.
What's your name and something you learned this week? My name's Emerson, and I learned about unit rate and ratios, and it was difficult. What's your name and something you learned this week? My name's Camilla, and I learned apes and aquatic animals. What's your name and something you learned this week? My name's Gavin, and I learned adding and subtracting negative numbers. TKH lunch this week is, today is a great day to learn something new.
So then we have students of the month that with respect our character trait, they've listed those. And then the last part are just pictures of all the things that they were talking about. Our little cross-country team we just started, a 5.
Gotta start somewhere.
Our volleyball team, we've got to start somewhere, you're correct. And our Pirates play that we had, we included all kids from K through 8th grade. Huge production, it was amazing. Our teacher and assistant, these are Fair Art winners, which you can. We also are a house school, so we're divided into 6 houses, and we had a house day right before fall break was out. We're in 6 colors, and these are the activities that we had that morning before we let out before fall break. Our little 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th teams that we played in tournaments. Our robotics, our older grades work with our younger grades to do that. We had Mr. Brock Peters as special guest, was one of the speakers. A couple field trips. FCA leadership, which Amelia is also one of the leaders with it. They go to Columbia and do. Then we have FCA. We started a lower grade FCA. 6th grade went to the career fair. VR, this is actually 2nd grade. They took some virtual field trips using that technology. We had a guest speaker, October's Red Ribbon Week, and we had somebody, 1st grade went to the pumpkin patch. And then all those that, like you said, met or exceeds, we take them to the movie. So that's just a little something
Hope you
extra.
have an amazing week. See you next week.
So I thought you would rather see the pictures than listen to me speak. So this started last year. It's gotten much better. Used to, the kids never looked up. They were reading their note cards, so they've improved. But they do it weekly. I send it out on a weekly address, and then that way the whole school, kindergarten, it's so sweet on Monday morning when you walk through and they're playing it. And they're getting, they're getting to see those 8th graders or 6th graders or whatever and kind of know what's going on in school. So I thought I'd share it with you.
That's great. I love it. It's great.
All right. Any questions you have for me?
I just want to say that's amazing what you're doing here, because one of the hardest things to teach a kid or even a young adult is speaking in front of people intelligently, and watching this is really encouraging. You do.
I would love to go back and show you where we started. And it's each week trying to make suggestions, because they would read off the note cards. So when I walked in today, I have to say this. I told Amelia that she was getting to speak, because this is not public speaking. It's not one of my favorite things. And how much that they've improved and done. And I also have to say that I also taught her daddy. I told Mr. Atkins, so that's just a little side note. All right,
Great.
thank
I
you.
was
Great work.
there during that time.
Sir?
I was there during that time.
I know. I'm showing my age.
That's all right. Good job.
Thank you. Next school recognition would be Summertown Elementary, Mr. Mabry.
So I just started off, I know you have this, so I'm going to hit the high points also. The school demographics, our enrollment number is down just a little bit. Also, our teachers and our assistants are down just a little bit due to some of the TN All-Corps positions going away. The reason I point that out is that's something that concerns us, just thinking about fewer people working, tutoring with students, and as important as we hold our test scores, making sure that there's not any loss right there. Cafeteria ladies at Summertown Elementary are amazing. Once again, this is about the 7th year that on fair day, they cook every student a funnel cake. And so on short days, it's even more difficult, but they turned out about 620 funnel cakes in a couple of hours. The next category is just some things SES has done over the years that I feel like we have led the way in Lawrence County, but hitting those last 4, the Sensory Playground, most of you know, was the grand opening was earlier this year. Last year we started the first creative writing class. When we look at some scores later on in this presentation, a lot of that is due to that opportunity that our kids have to do the creative writing. In addition to the hard work that the classroom teachers do every day. That creative writing class, each grade level published a book, 7 books. You can view those books in our school library. The Red Bench project that we just talked about with Noah was completed this year. And this is about the 25th year that Summertown Elementary has hosted youth basketball. And I'm pretty sure we're the only school in the county that still hosts that. And we're about 200 kids that we service. We do allow kids from other schools to participate. You know, there's 10 or 15 maybe that come from other schools, but the majority, 95% of those kids are Summertown Elementary kids that may not make it to the NBA, they may not make it to their middle school basketball team, but it's just an opportunity for them to learn the game of basketball. The thing I want to throw out about that is at Summertown Elementary, K6, we have no coaching supplements. We have no athletic director supplements. It's 100% voluntary. You know, people have to volunteer their time as far as to make that happen. And we have been fortunate. We have the draft coming up Sunday, and I can say, you know, we got a coach for every team, as long as we don't have an influx of new applications in the next day or so. Academics on the second page, very important page. I started off last year when I presented a little earlier than this time. Everything was embargoed. We couldn't share anything. And so I've just put some of our rewards from last year. We were a level 5 school, we were an A school, and we were a reward school. And so you can compare that to winning the district, the region, and the state championship as far as at elementary school, because those are the awards that are out there, and Summertown Elementary and our teachers and our students were fortunate to receive all 3 of those. The next slide, it looks like it's repetitive over and over again. Just be aware that some of the data is still embargoed, so we can't share specifics. I can't tell you grade levels, I can't tell you subjects, I can't tell you percentages, but if you look there at that list, all of those has a subject and a grade level and a percentage, and all of those are accurate as far as where you see high success rate in Lawrence County. You'll see several of those. There's 13 categories that Summertown Elementary gets graded on. If you'll notice, 10 of them are listed there in that list. Also, I mentioned the creative writing class earlier. If you look there under that, we had 9 perfect writing scores on TCAP. The writing portion, 9 students scored all the points, 16 out of the 16 points that they were eligible for, and that's not happened before. And a lot of that is the creative writing teacher and the classroom teacher working together to push those kids to the next level, because we've done a lot of things with our kids before. We do the Legos, we do the drones, we do all of those things. But we have kind of changed our mindset over the last few years. If a student can write, they can be successful in life. And so that's been our focus, and that's a huge portion of our test scores. I can list those categories is because that's paid off. Also, we feel like we're a stronger math school, and we had 2 students there that had a perfect score on the math assessment. Non-academic things, I won't go through all of those. Our community responds when there is a need. We had a benefit auction for a father that has colon cancer. And the thing that we could contribute is we donated 3 front of the car rider line tickets, which means you get to be front of the car rider line every day. You can roll in at 250, pull to the front of the line, get your kids first. We raised $600 for that family just by selling those front 3 spots. And so that's just a testament to our community. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big
If you've
deal.
ever waited in the line,
Yeah.
you understand
It's a big
$200 to be in the front over the course of 170
Yeah.
days, it's a deal. Also, we're proud that 100% of our students, our faculty and staff are CPR certified. There's a lot more student recognitions there. I want to highlight the last one there, 6th grade band. The high school has worked with us for the last several years, sending their band director over at a planning time. And as a result of that, we've been sending the middle school about 20 kids interested in band. And when that continues, you're going to see the program at Summertown High School grow. And that's why they do it, is because they realize that when you get those kids started early, most of them stick it out. The last page, projects in the work. Some of those are kind of pie in the sky. We're going to eventually have tilapia in our outdoor barn. It says 25. Last year it said 24. It may say 26 next year. But that is something that we're trying to get funding for, some tanks that would tie into our greenhouse. We're working on that. The Q Fitness is just another way to get the kids in shape and moving. The last one, the planning for Earth Day. If you've been up to Summertown recently, all the construction, it looks completely different. We see a need in the future to reestablish some shade. And so we're shooting for, after the fence gets put up between the football field and the elementary school, that we're going to really push an Earth Day where we try to plant some long-term shade for our students. Concerns, again, I mentioned we lost some funding for TN Corps tutoring, extra personnel in the building, which was 3 teachers and 3 assistants. As a result of that, I'm just concerned how that might impact some of our scores going into next year. We still are struggling with space. Last year when I met with you, I told you that there were a lot of kids spending a lot of time in the hall during RTI time because we didn't have rooms to put them in. We had students in the teacher's lounge. We don't have that now because we've lost some positions. We have some open rooms, and a lot of that has been moved back into the classroom, but we don't have any open space. Our counselor is still sharing a room, and our art teacher is still on the shade. But we're much better off than we were last year at this time, even though the cost was losing some personnel. Our K-3 enrollment was closed in 2023. Our K-6 enrollment was closed last school year, so that's part of why the space is still a concern. Our library, we're really pushing reading through our Eagle 5 program. We reward the kids every Friday. It started out, we just wanted kids to get 5 points over 9 weeks. What we saw is when we start giving a bag of popcorn, a slushie, we've got kids that do 5 points every week, and kids that have gained a love of reading because of that little bit of an incentive. And so what happens is we don't have enough books. We're constantly looking to buy books, and even if we have books, we don't have shelf space. And so that's just kind of a long-term thing, more space in the library that we're looking for. And the last thing, as a result of the new football field progress, we've shaved quite a substantial amount off of that upper playground. This is the second time we've shaved that upper playground. The first time when the road was built, and then we shaved it again. The equipment hopefully can be replaced, but as far as where to put the equipment is the problem that we're facing a little of. And so, does anybody have any questions? I know that was quick. Yes, sir.
I notice the counselor has no classroom. My question is, does the counselor have a private area office to work with students, counseling either individuals or small groups?
So not only our counselor, but DCS workers, people that come in all the time. We don't have a space that we can say this is always open, but we make sure we move people around. Sometimes that causes Mr. Brazier to be booted out of his office. Sometimes that means I'm booted out of my office. But when there's a need to talk with the counselor, we find a space somewhere. But there's not a set space that's open, 24/7 that's just for the counselor. But we make it work because we see that that's an important, that's a need.
I've got a question. This is out of ignorance from me being new on the board. Why are there these positions? Why are they eliminated?
So we had an opportunity that we received funds based on the number of kids that we could service. And so at Summertown Elementary, we tried our best to service the biggest number possible because we believe that if you put a small group of kids with a certified teacher, that it would make a difference in test scores. And so the grant only lasted for 3 years. And so we milked it for all it was worth, and we see huge results as far as our test scores because we had hundreds of kids getting after-school tutoring. We had hundreds of kids doing it during the school day. But when the money ran out, we went from 11 employees to like 5 employees. And so we just lost positions.
Do you still have a part-time position that you had at one? Do you still?
We have 4 retired teachers that work 2 days a week, and they tutor 3 kids at a time every 45 minutes. And then we have 2 full-time teachers that do the same thing. Before, we had 5, and then we had 3 assistants. And so we made some cuts. We lost the after-school tutoring, which was our choice because we felt like it was better utilized during the school day. But we're always eager to get some more money for positions like that if there's anything available.
So just to expand on that, the 10 All-Core Funds is what that grant was called, and it came from the State Department. It was through the State Department's ESSER funds, so the coded federal money that came. And Mr. Mabry is correct. They used as much as they could and utilized it very well. What we tried to do when that funding went out was we took the TISA bonus dollars that we got and a little bit of the base funding and we were able to create about half the budget of what was being given us by the State Department. So that's why it wasn't completely cut out, but we did as much as we could fund. And again, part of that was with the bonus dollars, so you will see that fluctuate. Those bonus dollars are given to us based on test scores. So the higher the test scores, the more bonus dollars you get. So that piece will fluctuate as a school budget. But what we did was we took those dollars, we allocated those to the schools based on how they participated in the 10 All-Core grant, and then they decided how they would utilize those dollars.
And it made a huge difference. I mean, our test scores, what they look like is due heavily to the hard work of teachers, but also the small groups that we were able to create before school, after school, during school. And like I said, we got shrunk a little bit. And so we're hoping to fill in some gaps with some other things, but that was a great opportunity for us. And it continues to be. It's just at a smaller level.
Mr. Mabry, do you anticipate that hindering your test scores next year, like losing those personnel? You think it's hard to tell, but
it's almost impossible for it not.
Yeah.
I mean, because we had a huge group. I mean, almost 200 kids were getting 1 to 3 tutoring after school 2 to 3 days a week. And so it's going to impact it. We hope we're doing enough other things to offset that.
We went from about a $3 million budget to a $1.5 million budget. I mean,
cut it in half.
Yeah, right. We went from 500 and something thousand to like 200 and something thousand. I mean, it was just, we lost half the people. And so we just had to be more strategic about how we place those kids for that service.
And to answer for Mr. Adams, when we knew that was going to happen, we knew the ESSER dollars would dry up, we started looking at a way to fund tutoring that had not happened in Lawrence County. So that $3 million is about a $1.4 million investment. Every time I speak with legislators and they ask me, what do you need? Tutoring. Tutoring is what our people are saying we need. We need that back because that's where we're getting our best bang for the buck when we can do that with kids. I think Mr. Mabry and the other principals will tell you that's what's needed. So I keep encouraging that, and we keep trying to find dollars, but there are other things that need dollars as well, but we want to keep pushing for that. So any help that anybody can give us on convincing the legislature to invest in tutoring dollars is needed because it is very important.
It's not a road.
Any other questions?
No, I just want to say, not only academically, but y'all have so much going on at the elementary level and all throughout the school. But to have a weekend league and to continue to develop those kids, I know people personally that's benefited from that league. Thank you for continuing to do that and seeing that through.
Thank you. And anybody has a Saturday, they want to come referee or work the concession, we take volunteers. And sometimes we have parents that get real animated up in the bleachers about the referees, and sometimes it's me, and we offer them a whistle and a shirt to come out there and join us. So, but it's all in good fun, and the kids, they do benefit from it. Some of them, that's the only opportunity they'll have, and so as long as we can keep it going, we'll do whatever we need to for that to occur.
Any other questions?
I'd like to make a statement. That's a wonderful program. We had it at Leon. That was one of my first basketball players. And we won every game, didn't we, Jessica?
Yes, ma'am, we did. Best of my recollection, anyway.
Mine too. Had a good time.
Thank you, Mr. Mabry. Anybody else, any other comments before we move on? Thank y'all both for the great work that you're doing at your schools. Please keep up the good work, and we'll continue to try to support y'all as best as we can. Personnel report.
Mr. Chairman, everything is there. These are folks who have had a leave of absence or new hires. Some are resigning their positions, taking other positions in the community. So everything is up to date as far as I recall.
Any questions on the personnel report?
Hold on one second. The bus attendants on that, does that throw us back? Because I know we always struggle with bus drivers. Or is that that's a bus attendant? Right? So
bus attendant.
Especially a bus.
They're on there to assist the driver. They may have a need on that bus to have that.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Line item C, director's update.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, just a few things to share with you in the on the agenda tonight is the calendar for the 25-26 school year. We put out 2 drafts. We asked the LCSS to vote on it, to give us their thoughts. I shared with you the results and all of the comments that were shared with me in a response. So I can't recall exactly how many folks participated in that, but draft B was selected, and that's on the agenda tonight for your approval. We've also started the process with MGT, that is the Long Range Growth and Capacity Study firm. That process will take anywhere to 4 to 6 months. We already gathered information to share with them. We've notified local leaders, city and county leaders, that they may be contacted by MGT asking for information, real estate, property availability, that sort of thing. We want them to know that that is a legit study, and they may be reaching out to them. School safety continues to be a priority, as we're all aware of some of the comments that are made across the state and the disruptions to the learning environment. Wednesday, Mr. Tucker, myself, and our team here met with city and county officials. Productive meeting about emergency responses, protocols, what would happen, how we would do certain things. Very, very productive meeting. We will follow up with those folks again and continue to develop plans and protocols for emergency situations. Later that day, on Wednesday, we met with a representative from a company with the panic buttons, the wearable panic buttons. We've shown that to our principals at the last principals meeting. We've asked the company that's on a state contract to provide us with a quote for that so that we can consider bringing that to the board. It is a rapid response and allows us to respond to an issue quickly. It allows for other things to happen that I would not want to share in public, but it is a good system. All of our people would have one and could immediately alert school personnel if there was a need. So we'll work on that and share that with you as we know more. Earlier, you approved the TISA accountability document, and Mrs. Ridgway can speak to this if the board would like, but we set some goals. One of those goals was set by the state that third grade proficiency by 2030 had to be at 70%. So we had an incrementalism approach to that, a little bit every year, a little bit every year. We made improvement, but we fell short of the goal that we set. So we're going back in, looking at things we can do differently, adding more programs, adding more supports. We did do well in math. Though we had a new math curriculum, we still showed growth, and we've got a ways to go there, and we made progress in college and career readiness. So I will share that information with you in the weekly update. You can reach out to me if you have any questions about that. We did exceed some goals, or we exceeded where we wanted to be, we just didn't reach the goal. But we've got some work to do there, and we'll continue to do that. Lots of great things happening in Lawrence County because of the great people each and every day who get up and start a bus, run a route, get up and make biscuits, sausage and biscuit, whatever it is, so that when our kids get on a bus and come into a school, they're met with a welcoming and warm and caring school system. And that's a testament to those folks, as Mr. Mabry talked about scores, Mrs. Cruz talked about and shown you what her students are doing. Each and every day our people make a difference in Lawrence County. We're blessed to have those people working with their kids. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions or comments for the director? Mr. Atkins, this TISA report, can you make that available to the board members and through email?
Yes, sir.
Can we get that email to everybody?
We'll get it to you. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Report on state compliance.
As far as Mr. Tucker?
Each time this year, this time of year, the state requires that all LEA school systems complete a compliance report. Part of that requirement is signature from the director, signature from the board chair, and the board being also informed and at a board meeting that we are in compliance to the best of our knowledge with all state laws, federal laws, and State Board of Education rules. We have to turn in several documents each year, things such as class size, licensure, and those type of things. But also TSBA does an evaluation of our policies each year and lets us know if anything needs to be changed, any policy. And when that does happen, we always bring that, of course, to you to approve. So to the best of our knowledge, this office, we are in compliance with all laws and all rules that we're supposed to have.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Any questions for Mr. Tucker? All right, LCEA.
We don't have anything new tonight to present.
Thank you. TLN update.
So there's a current, right now, election going on, and they can't file or pre-file bills until the day after the election. So I was told that we'll have some stuff next month, but this month there's not anything going right now. So
Thank you. All right, and just I'm assuming this is just a update point. The TSBA annual convention in Asheville, Tennessee, November 7th through the 10th, and they will be appointing delegates. If you are interested in going, please let Mr. Atkins' office know, and they'll make arrangements and provide you, the system provides you a place to stay and get you registered for that convention. So, any questions on that? All right, we'll move over to items for consideration, discussion, and action. Section 3 here, Executive Committee. This, everyone should be informed of all this through the weekly updates that Mr. Atkins sends out. Do we have any questions on any of these Executive Committee things that we need to pass?
I'd like to move that we approve the Executive Committee.
All right, well, we've got a motion. Do we have a second? No second?
I think we had a question.
What is the question?
Well, the order of service, and it's in the books, you have to have a motion you have to have a second, and then you open the floor for questions.
That's the reason
That is
I
in
made the
Robert-
second one.
That's in Robert's rules, yes, so, just for everyone knowing, we'll get to the questions, but you have to have a motion and a second.
Second.
Thank you, we have a second. Now, Ms.
I have a question. The Next Gen Science, what is that? I've done a little bit of reading on it.
So that is, we are going through a science adoption this year. So that is training for some of the science teachers to participate in, so that when we go through the adoption, they know the new standards and what they're looking for in a high quality science text.
Okay, so does this cover Tennessee standards?
Yeah. They actually presented at the State Department hired them to present to a group of people, and then we decided to bring them through ESSER funds to specifically do our teachers for the same training that they did for the State
So this
Department.
is not a curriculum adoption then?
No, ma'am.
Okay, when are science standards due to be reviewed? Are they not?
So we currently have
You got new
science
ones?
standards.
Okay.
And so those will be rolled out along with the curriculum. If I'm not mistaken, Dr. Glass is the one that scheduled this training, but if I'm not mistaken, these teachers that were trained are taking that back to their schools on our October PLC day, to the rest of the science teachers that are in the school building.
So that'll educate them so that they'll have the skills to dig into science curriculums. That's what it's all about, okay?
Correct.
All right. Just wanted
Thank you, Ms.
clarity.
Alexander. Yes, sir.
And Ms. Alexander, I attended that training, I guess maybe it was yesterday, I'm trying to remember. Then you arrive at a training at 7:45 with teachers, and sometimes they're a little slow to start. These folks were up and going and working the entire time. I was there about 45 minutes of it, and they were enthusiastic, energetic. A few of them were here today and were asking me about possible training opportunities this summer earlier than late July, early August, so that they could get their heads around this even more. They're really excited about the opportunity to have a true curriculum in the science field. First time in a long time.
All right, any other questions for the director?
This
Yes.
is all ESSER money, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Move to approve.
Well, we've already got a motion and a second, so we're just
Okay.
ready to vote. If any other questions? Ms. Jessica, please call roll.
Sir. Weathers,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Rochelle, sorry, I forgot he wasn't here. Jacobs,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item number 4, budget items for consideration, discussion, and action. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the document in front of you, Mrs. Elledge may have to speak to this, but this is the final ESSER report that we will submit, indicating that we have executed all the available funds that were made available through COVID. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Mrs. Elledge and Mrs. Ridgway have done an outstanding job of managing this for the last several years. There are things that happen and changes, and you would think it would just be simple to say, we want to now use some money for this, and go in there and change that. But when you do, then the entire document has to be approved again and again, every time you open it up. And these folks stay on top of it. They made sure that these dollars were spent as they were directed to us. My only directive to them was we don't send anything back. And they've done an outstanding job of spending all this money, and it's benefited our kids, it's helped our kids, it's helped Lawrence County. So very, very appreciative of their hard work.
Thank you, Ms.
Is this a vote? Are we asking to approve this plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get a motion?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions on the floor? I would like to make a comment as well on Ms. Ridgway and Ms. Elledge's, since COVID, for those of us who've been on this board since that hit, it has been a whirlwind, and there has been a lot of updates. I would be curious, and when y'all do get some time, I would love to see from day one, when the first ESSER dollars come out, to today, when we're getting ready to spend the last, what all has been accomplished in this system, and what these ladies and Michael in the office has done managing that. There has been a lot of work done. through that money, and they've done an excellent job again. So I echo the comments from Mr. Atkins and all your office personnel, the way they've handled these funds. Because that was 3 rounds, right? It started ESSER 1.0, then 2.0, and then 3.0 since 2020. So it's been amazing, and it's been a whirlwind ride, and there has been a lot accomplished. So I couldn't even imagine how much we've gotten done, but I would love to see if y'all can throw that together.
Just know that, just like Mr. Mabry said, over the next, this was it. So all of those things that we've been paying for, either we're gonna have to cut out, or we're gonna have to figure out how to put them in the budget. And that was 24 million?
It was just shy of $25 million since 2020.
Wow.
25 million. I was fixing to ask. So the whole ESSER 1, 2, and 3 is 25, just short of 25 million.
Yes, sir.
So when you think about that, our 6 years of ELA curriculum was purchased out of that. Part of our math curriculum was purchased out of that. So we were able to get everything with those curriculums.
Well, it would interest me, and I think I'll speak on behalf of the board, when you give that report, Mr. Atkins, on what all has been accomplished, I'd also like to see a column of what we no longer can, of what we're going to lose. And so all of us as a board can see what that is, so we can contemplate on any way that we might could figure that out. So, all right, any other comments, questions? Please call roll.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Alexander?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Dryden?
Yes.
Jacobs?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Weathers?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Line item number 5, personnel items for consideration, the SPED integrated preschool teacher.
Mr. Chairman, this is a budget neutral position. Our special ed folks have received a grant to hire additional staff to help with an increasing number of referrals for students in the 3 to 5 age range. These are some of our students who might be challenged at times, and so we have 2 programs. This would be adding a 3rd program, minimizing the class sizes at the 2 schools. And again, it's budget neutral. Mrs. Moore is here to speak on it if the board wishes, but again, it's budget neutral, and it does allow us to minimize class sizes at the 2 existing schools where we have this influx and increasing need.
Where will it be based? Do you know where it's going to be?
We're still looking at the placement for the school, but it'll be a more central location. Because in our central location at Ingram South, we have a special education classroom for pre-K, which we're mandated to continue from the state. So our integrated preschools, and the main difference is they have typical peers with the students with disabilities. So we have one at Leona and one at Etheridge. So we've had to take those kids that are central and west are our biggest concerns that we've pushed into those that are overfilling those classrooms.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? We'll
To approve.
have a motion to approve.
Second.
There is a second. Any final questions or comments? Please call roll.
Weathers?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jacobs?
Yes.
Dryden?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Alexander?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Line item number 6 on the agenda, other items for consideration, discussion, and action. A, winter sports schedules. B, approval of the calendar. And C, next board meeting being November the 21st at 5 p.m. Any questions regarding these?
Is there a copy of the calendar on there? I left mine home.
No, you're fine. There you go.
I do have a question on the calendar, and I think you may have mentioned it during your report, Mr. Atkins, but what percentage of participation do we have in the survey?
I don't recall exactly. We had 2 surveys go out. Both times was a little over 300 respondents. I don't know if they were the same 300 or however, but the percentage on the acceptance of B over A was 55% chose B, 45% chose A.
But 300 altogether
Responded.
throughout the system, and we're at what, 600 plus?
You count administrators, counselors, everyone that would have a say in it. Bus drivers, we gave everybody the opportunity.
Cafeteria staff everybody has a
If they're in-
opportunity to vote.
About a third of your
Yeah,
staff.
about a third of them responded.
Okay.
That's about the number that's been the last several years. It's 350, 300, 350, something like that.
All right, and draft B, which is before us, is what won out in that survey, so that is what is under consideration.
Yes, sir.
For approval.
Yes, sir.
Does the board member have any questions on any of these
I
three?
did, and it's just may not be relevant to this, but when did we discontinue having a teacher work day at the January when they go back to school?
Teacher, we have to provide in-service days.
Okay.
And so we provide in-service days in in August for our teachers. So we'd have to have an in-service day in January, which is not a work day.
Okay.
We can add a work day. Mrs. Cope and I were talking about that today. You could put a work day in, but I believe you'd have to use a weather day if that would be permissible. And we've asked some folks for some clarification.
Well, I do know in reading through a lot of those responses, I didn't get through all of them, but that did seem to be a pretty repeated response, was asking for that work day, a day at work before kids arrive, coming back from the winter break.
And I've checked with several districts, and several districts are moving away from those, and just when school resumes in January, so do the teachers. It has been a practice, but I'm seeing more and more districts moving away from that. Now, why, I don't know, but I know it is happening.
And how many districts have gone to a whole week at Thanksgiving?
More are coming on board with that now. That is picking up.
I was just seeing one of those days could be used.
Yes.
I
And
just know what it's like coming back after Christmas and not having.
the surveys, the data over the last few years, we've asked the teachers that numerous times, would you be willing to give up a couple of days at Thanksgiving, come back later, do some other things, and it's usually 75-25. No, we prefer to have 5 days at Thanksgiving.
Comment that I have, and this is coming from a non-educator, is thinking about childcare, for a long number of days. Do we consider those type things for youngsters?
It's not a problem for high school, but for elementary, smaller kids, that would be a problem for parents.
I mean, to me, Mr. Adams, and I mean, because I've thought those things, same things. I've talked to educators who bring up the same point that Ms. Alexander brings up. But from our seat, this is what the system has voted on and presented to us. And yeah, there's all kind of holes you can punch at it or whatnot, but this is what they brought to us to say that they wanted. The majority of our teachers wanted. And that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, to give and support them. So, yeah, there's some holes I could punch in it, but this is what they've asked for. So,
and I'll add this: I tell them in my responses that we will continue to work on the things that they offer us. One of the offers or suggestions that's been made the last couple of years was back fall breakup to follow Fair Day. And we did that this year. And so we're continuing to work to find those ways. But in order to start early and get out before Memorial Day, there are certain things you have to do in that defined amount of time. And so we can do a lot of this, but we're going to go past Memorial Day to do some of that, which may not be a big thing. We can always poll them again and ask, and we will continue to do so.
If I recall, that poll about Memorial Day comes back, well, staunch no, we won't done before Memorial Day.
And I think
in the past,
the educators who have dealt with this before will tell you, once testing concludes and there's a lot of time left, it can become a challenge for schools and districts. And Ms. Cope.
Also the challenge now is mandatory
Summer
because
school.
of the third grade law, summer school. So if you bump the longer you're in school, the longer it takes for us to start summer school. We always try to finish summer school before dead weeks.
Ms. Cole?
So one of the things that I was going to answer for Mr. Adams, what we've tried to do the past several years is get this calendar out in plenty of time so, parents know which days we're going to be off so they can know when they are going to need childcare. So, I feel like the past couple of years we've done a good job of getting it out in plenty of time, to plan vacations and for people to think about, what's going to be happening next school year.
That's great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All good points, so appreciate everybody's feedback and input. Any other questions or comments on, these three line items? All right, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. It will bring us to the end of the board meeting, so the meeting is adjourned.